Hi, Nico.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thanks.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for joining us again. You've been so generous with your time. I really, really appreciate it. And today we're talking swim diapers, if you're up
That's
for it.
that's right. And thanks for having me again. Hopefully, people are not tired of seeing my face yet, but we do get a lot of questions about swim diapers. And if you're like me and a lot of people on that will watch this, you're trying to reduce your footprint. You're trying to do the right thing. It's not always easy, but for swimming, it really is. I mean, it doesn't even matter whether you're a disposable diaper user or a cloth diaper user or a mixed user. Switching to a reusable swim diaper is super easy. Really, all you're trying to do is catch the poo. That's what it's all about, right? So when you're looking for a reusable swim diaper, it's important to look at the elastics, particularly. So you want to look for something that has a nice elastic around the waist and a good elastic around the leg, because that is how you contain the mess inside. Um, what I'm showing you is a Charlie Banana swim diaper. But there's other ones out there too. Just make sure that you look at, having a good sizable waistband with a nice tight, snug elastic that's not too tight, but seals it off nicely, and also around the legs. Now, what is very different about swim diapers is they come in sizes. So it's not like your one size diaper where you try to size it to fit your baby correctly. They usually come in different sizes, and that's because the leg hoop needs to be kind of continuous and make a nice seal there. Charlie Banana swim diapers come in two kinds. One that has a little drawstring here at the top, and some other brands do that too. That's so that you can make it even more snug around the waist, even though there already is elastic in there. If you're really worried about that, that flying out thing, you can tighten this a little bit more, and also that will, make you be able to adjust the size a little bit at the waist. Some people, however, it's about 50-50 in our polls, prefer that having the snaps on the side so that you can take it off easily in case there is a little bit more mess than you were bargaining for. It's still a very secure fit, tight elastics, nice wide elastics around the waist, and a good snug elastic around the legs. So either way,
that's a really good point. Yeah, it should be a little bit more snug than a typical cloth diaper around the tummy, because water, right?
Right. And so it tends to then also poof out a little bit balloony. That's fine. It's just, that just tells you that you have a good snug fit where nothing can escape. Yeah. So what's so special about a swim diaper? I mean, really, there isn't much to it. Really what you need is an outer layer that's waterproof, right? You need those elastics to make a nice containment. But one of the reasons why Charlie Banana was voted as the most comfortable is because we spend a lot of time, and I'm a scientist, so I'm going to have to talk a little bit of science.
That's perfect.
Is about the lining. Okay, so we've chosen to use a Tencel lining. Tencel stands for a plant-derived lyocell fiber material that's been sustainably grown. It is A, super soft. B, it dries very quickly. You can feel how soft it is, but it's hard to demonstrate, but it is really very soft. It dries very quickly too, and it doesn't swell. But it does absorb a little bit. So don't expect this diaper to catch a whole lot of pee like your normal diaper does. That's not what it's for. It will absorb a little bit in this lining, but it doesn't have any padding or any absorbent material. But it does have a really nice soft material against the skin that's plant derived. So that's what is so special for us.
And disposable swim diapers, if you were to spend all the money and have those, they also don't hold in the liquid. So that's
they
kind of important.
No, because they hold a little bit. They hold a little bit, but it's not made of this super absorbent gel, because that would swell up in the water, right? That's what you see when you have a normal disposable diaper up. The thing blows up like a big balloon. So disposable swim diapers don't have that, and therefore can absorb a tiny little bit, but really are, again, there to contain the mess, not necessarily to absorb pee.
Yeah, same. And it's a safety issue, just for people who haven't looked into swim diapers or anything yet.
Yes.
It's a safety issue because if you have all that weight holding the baby down, they won't be able to, you know, be buoyant, and
Yeah,
it's really a
that's
safety
one
thing.
thing. But if you also, I don't know if you've ever been to the pool where somebody did have a little accident. Obviously, they have to close the pool down, and they have to decontaminate and make sure that everything is, you know, back to, you know, test the water, that there's no bacteria in there. And usually it, you know, the kids are not allowed to go back in the pool for half an hour. So, you know, it's kind of embarrassing when that happens to you. So make sure you invest in a nice swim diaper. Some diapers,
Nobody wants to be that mom.
yeah, exactly. We've just recently found out that a lot of the swim schools as well require a reusable swim diaper, or sometimes a reusable swim diaper and a disposable diaper underneath, a disposable swim diaper underneath. I'm not sure why you would need both. It really isn't necessary. I think maybe what happens is they're confusing it with a disposable diaper and a normal swim trunk, whatever, swim suit, which is a little bit different. So it could be that way as well. So yeah, if you're getting ready, kids are back in school, if they're getting ready to go to swim school, swim lessons, this is also a great time to invest in reusable swim diapers. I think I don't know if we still have a sale on April.
I think you do. I was just on your website today. Let me throw up the website here. Come on.
I'm the scientist, not the salesperson. So,
so they are 20% off right now.
Okay, wonderful. And then and you always get, when you buy more than one, when you buy 3 or more, you also get an additional discount on top of that. So you can see that we're award winning. You can see one of our new prints. We have a total of 9 prints, and she also just showed you a sizing chart underneath there. So make sure you pick the right size. By the way, if you have previously bought Charlie Banana swim diapers and looked at the size there, the sizing for these new versions, these new prints, is a little bit different. So be aware of that. We got a lot of not a lot. We got some feedback that particularly our previously large sizes said they would fit a certain fit range, and really they were a bit too snug and a bit too tight. So we made the sizing a little bit bigger. So if you're currently in an L, that might be more like an M now, or if you're currently in an XL now, that might be more like in a new L. But look at the chart. The weight ranges are pretty exactly measured. We do studies with different babies to make sure that they fit, and they should actually fit a lot nicer than they did before.
So that's a question I had for you. I'm not sure if you'll know the answer, but you've won, I just have it on screen here, so many awards for your swim diapers now. Are all those awards after the redesign or before the redesign, or?
Some of them were from before, but we really didn't do necessarily, we didn't change everything about it, right? We kept all the good things. We kept, you know, the beautiful lining, the nice shape design, the tensile materials, the snap and the drawstring. So a lot of what was awarded before still is valid for right now. The latest one that we got, I think, was for the new designs on comfort. But previously we had a tensile lining as well. We actually just upgraded it to an even more sustainable plant-derived 100% tensile material. It used to be a blend of tensile and polyester. It's now fully 100% plant-derived. So that's that's the 2 key changes between the previous versions of well, there's 3. The previous versions. So new prints, go and check them out. They're super cute. You see here what's called Banana Fiesta. There's one with whales that's very popular. There's one with little seals that's very popular as well. And then we kept some good old golden oldies in there too. whatever you prefer, whether you like a more neutral print, whether you like a more boy or girl leaning print, there's something there for everybody. So that's the first change. Secondly, like what I said, is we changed the sizings to fit a little bit bigger babies. Our babies are getting bigger in general, but also to make sure that the range is a little bit wider. And then the third is we upgraded our lining material from a Tencel blend to a 100% Tencel lyocell material. Even softer, even more durable, even more responsibly made. So
It sounds like there's so much that go into these. All the science.
And then when you're there and shopping, you may also want to check out some other things, like, you know, we still sell little rash guard shirts. Those are great. You know, don't necessarily need them in when you go for the for swim lessons, but if you're out on the beach or out and about, obviously these are UPF 50 certified. So again, a lot of testing to be done to show that these materials stop the harmful UV rays. And all our swimwear, and not just our rash guards, but actually our swim pants as well, have a UPF 50 excellent rating, which is the highest you can get in this testing.
Nice.
And these little rash guards, we have them in white, we have them in bright blue and bright pink, and also in a black color. So they can combine with a whole bunch of different prints. Yeah.
Nice. I love those. I'm definitely, well, red hair with freckles. I'm the sunscreen mom. So having the rash guards is an absolute must still.
Well,
saves so much crying. And
always in a bikini, my shoulders would always get burned no matter how much sunscreen they would put on me. So yeah, a rash guard shirt, is definitely recommended. Also, if you go for the really bright neon ones, you'll see that on our website it will say visibility tested, particularly if you go to the rash guard shirts. So what we know from those is visibility in the water can change, and some parents are quite concerned about that, so they want to have maximum visibility when the kids are in water. So the neon colors tend to do the best. So particularly that sort of bright pink, or that sort of neon green or neon blue. Oh, I lost my little bag. Do very well in that. You'll see that there's some that have a little call out on there when you go and check it out on the colors.
I apologize. I'm trying to scroll in behind all of the windows.
Talking about accessories, the other thing that is really super handy when you're, there you go. I don't know if you go to the colors, whether it should have a little certificate on there, or maybe it's not there yet. Maybe it's coming up soon. Nope, it did not.
There we go.
Never mind. At some point it will. Another super handy thing to have is a wet bag. I mean, most of you probably already have those, right? But particularly when you go swimming, it's super easy, especially this tote bag, which is the nice size. Throw your wet swimmies in there, and then nothing else in your bag gets soaking wet. And that can go straight in the laundry too. So
even with older kids, you're going to use those wet bags, when they're 5, 6, 7, for sure.
I have several around the house for that purpose. Exactly.
Yep. It's not a wasted purchase whatsoever. Get lots of those. That's for sure. Okay. Well, that you've covered a lot.
I've covered a lot. So yes. So quick recap. Make sure that this thing is a poop container, right? So make sure that you find the right size and a good snug fit around the legs, particularly, and also a good elastic around the waist. If you want to have it super secure, you can use a drawstring, but even snaps on the side can still make a very good secure fit around there. So that's one. Look for materials that are quick drying. You probably don't want a diaper that's just that PUL, that plastic layer directly against the body. That's kind of sweaty and horrible. You probably want to have a lining that's soft and nice against the skin, and that's why we chose the tensile lining. Look for that UPF 50. Um, so skin has SPF, clothing has UPF. So look for that mark. That also will tell you that it's really a good material. And then, as always, with all reusable diapering products, but also baby clothing and baby articles in general, you also want to look for Okotex Standard 100 certification. Okotex Standard 100 is basically an industry standard. It used to test for like 100 things. Now it's like over 350 or sometimes over 600, depending on what testing you do of materials or substances of interest that could or may be harmful to children, and have some sort of regulations usually in some country or another. So it's very rigorous, and materials or brands that have the Okotex Standard 100 certification tend to have done their homework on what they're putting in their products.
Is that only for health and safety, or are there environmental check marks as well?
Both.
Okay.
Both. So, for example, there it could be either. Yes.
Okay.
So there's certain substances in there that they want to keep below a certain level because of environmental reasons rather than health or allergy type reasons. So it could be either.
Okay. Yes. So we're looking for the right fabrics. We're looking for a nice snug fit around the legs and the tummy. Something nice and soft against the skin, so you don't get that kind of like rashy, plasticky thing.
Nobody wants to wear a plastic bag, do they? So, you do want it to be waterproof, so it doesn't take too much water up from the outside. But that tends to be pretty universal in most reusable swim diapers that are on the market. So.
Now, you want these snug. If someone's baby was kind of in between two sizes, would you tell them to go up, or should they stay small, in your opinion?
Good question. I probably lean toward a little on the snugger side, but you never really want to get like red marks around the legs, around the waist, right?
Right.
It's a difficult one. I don't think you have to be too worried. I mean, if it's really gapping, that's when you have to be worried. But it doesn't have to be super, super tight around the legs to still make a good seal and a good containment. So even when you can still feel that it's a little bit loose, but it doesn't look like there's a gap. That's fine. And if you go up with a size, then of course, then you're gonna wear that a little bit longer too. So I could also argue get the bigger size, then you get more use out of it.
They grow so fast, right?
Yeah, I know they do. But of course you can also pass them down, right? I mean, that's the nice thing about reusables, pass them down to your next child or to your neighbors, or donate them to wherever you can donate them to. The better, the fewer disposables we can, the more we can keep out of the landfill, the better.
I find swim diapers are good entry-level diapers. Like, even if someone's not quite involved or knows anything about cloth diapers, swim diapers, they have them everywhere. They've seen them. It's kind of something that you can kind of get your neighbor who hasn't cloth diapered into. You can be like, here, you can use this at the pool. It's like a one-off,
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, I remember what I was going to talk about, April. The difference between a swim pant and a training pant.
Okay, yes.
So in Charlie Banana, we distinguish the two. Our training pant actually looks very much like the swim pant with the openable sides. The difference is that the lining is, in our case, the lining is different. The lining is made of cotton. I don't know if you can see.
That makes sense.
And there is actually a padded area in the crotch. Really, that's because when you're starting potty training, it's not always going to go perfectly right. So you need to be able to at least catch a good, gush there. So that's what the same terry material that is in the reusable diaper insert is in the padding of the training pant. and that should be good enough. It's not as many layers, and so it doesn't take a full overnight load like a reusable diaper does, but it should get a good gush for, you know, a potty training size kid to hold in there. And of course, you know, any dribbles or any late reactions, you should catch it as well. The reason why the lining is different is because we want the cotton is a good step toward cotton underwear, and because the hopefully that it will signal better to the child that, hey, they got a little wet and they need to change, or they need to go potty a little quicker, a little sooner, and not stop playing when, because that's usually the problem, right? They just don't want to stop what they're doing.
Exactly.
In the training pants, the same thing. We actually did adjust our sizes a little bit so that we could fit a larger range. If you will see in the swim sizes, we start as a little bit smaller. We have an extra small, medium, and large. But for the training pants, we don't have extra small. We started small. We go small, medium, large, extra large. So those sizes don't totally match with the old product, but so please look at the sizing chart to make sure that you get the right size for your child. Now, people say, can I use my training pants for swimming? Yeah. No reason you can't.
Sorry.
The padding will get wet, and it might be a little heavier because of that. And so it's not designed for that, right?
Right.
But you can, and there are padded swim pants on the market as well that have padding there, so that's perfectly fine. Can you use a swim pant for training? You could, but you probably will need to put either an insert in or something to catch that pee. But it would still be better than the kind of padded underwear that has a little bit of extra material in the crotch, but doesn't have a waterproof layer on the outside. So your clothes are still going to get wet, and your pants are still going to get wet. Not always super handy when you're in the potty training phase. It can get frustrating.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
It does. Thank you.
Okay.
Yep. Potty training is a fun phase.
Yeah, we could probably spend a whole other time on potty training, which is, you know, it's great to get to that stage, right? Because, you know, when your child is ready for that and indicates that they're ready to potty train, wonderful, but it comes with its own challenges. But just know that there are products for that out there too,
Yes.
to help you in that journey.
Yes. And they are quite different from the regular diapers with the linings.
Oh, yes.
And
yes, and because they need to do a different job, right?
Yes.
By that time, you usually probably don't have to deal with BM too much anymore. It really tends to be urine. Sometimes it's only overnight. A lot of kids get potty trained pretty quickly during the daytime, but then struggle at night. Or when they're still early in the phase, they might still have a little bit more accidents than when they're later on. Some kids pick it up very quickly. Some kids take a little longer, and that's all okay.
It is. And especially at night. I got into the trap of, really worrying about nighttime training, but a lot of nighttime training has to do with their bodies and just their bodies growing
Absolutely.
into that phase.
There's a good chunk of kids that are deep sleepers, and they are fully capable of potty training during the day, but at night their bodies are just not ready to tell them yet that they need to go, and it will come.
It will,
and it is frustrating, but again, we're working on a whole bunch of products for the deep sleepers as well. They tend to be too large for what we're selling today. And some kids 7, 8, 10, sometimes even 12 years old still struggle with the nighttime due to deep sleeping. So currently we cannot fit in our products, but we're working on it.
Okay, good to know.
There's always something in the pipeline. Were there any questions that you saw, April, from anybody on the call?
Let me pull some up. Now, again, I apologize if you're on Facebook. I don't always see your name. It's just something with the software, but I regardless if we know who you are, we'll still get to your comments and questions. Someone just commented, rash guards are the best whether you cloth diaper or not. 100%. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's
Yep.
exactly what I was saying. So make sure that you find a good rash guard that fits nicely, but also has this UPF 50 on their tags.
Yes. Very nice.
So go ahead, go to the website. Not only do we have swimwear on sale still, we also you can see the beautiful new prints that are out there. You're gonna love some. Do you recommend using a disposable diaper? We talked about that a little bit. So so I know that some swim schools actually demand you doing that. So there's not much I can do about that. But really, you don't need to, unless you're really, really worried. I don't know, your kid has diarrhea or something like that. Then you probably don't want to put them in the pool, to be honest. But to do that, it really should contain. That's the whole point of having a reusable swim diapers, that you don't need to use a disposable. But if it's demanded by the swim school that you're going to, then there's not much I can do about it. You can try and argue that you don't need to, but I'll leave that.
I have a question for you. If you're at the splash pad, would you put them in a swim diaper or a regular diaper?
At the splash park?
Yeah.
Oh, good point. If they're getting just a little bit wet, you could probably just keep their normal diaper on, because the outside of that is waterproof, so it shouldn't get too wet. But I mean, they tend to be more bulky and more heavy anyway. So I usually change them into a swim diaper, only because kind of matchy. I like matchy colors, and and the colors of my swim are different than my other diapers. But I guess I have seen people do, just have them wear the reusable one size, even, or sometimes without the insert, just kind of the outside. And you can do that too. Just know that they're not really designed for that, and you have to make sure that you get a pretty good snug fit that way.
I always say, if you're using just a cover, once the water comes out of the cover, everything's coming out of it. So
and so the lining is thicker on that one and will be a little bit wetter, but it dries pretty quick, that one as well. So you could.
Okay. A really good question here. Any washing tips for swim diapers specifically?
We didn't talk about washing. You will see that the care label for swim diapers is the same as for our reusable one size or newborn cloth diapers. Really, like always, the PUL is the one that is the most susceptible to damage. So you cannot wash it really hot, like boiling hot, and you cannot dry it very high. Actually, these dry pretty quickly outside the line. You don't even need to necessarily throw them in the dryer if you want to be a bit more conscious, but you can also throw it in with the load you're already drying, as long as you do it on low. So so they're really, they're not going to be probably as messy as if there's no BM in there. They're you can really kind of just throw it in with your normal laundry. That would be the least footprint. But yeah, recommendation is always wash warm. That's about 40 C, dry on low, or hang to dry if you can. And yeah, I mean, unlike the inserts for your cloth diapers, which tend to get the dirtiest, right? You sometimes might want to wash those a little hotter and maybe even put some non-chlorine bleach on them. For these, they're pretty easy to wash, really.
Yeah, they don't have all those tightly sewn layers. You have to worry about getting deep into the into the layers. So they wash pretty.
Yeah, the lining is actually fairly loose on this, so it in my experience it washes very, very easily.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good to know. That's wonderful. I think that's all the questions we had. Unless someone has any last minute questions, get them in the comments now.
Exactly. I mean, you can always contact either one of us in any other way, and we would be happy to answer your questions. On how many? Okay, so for swim, the reason why we offer like 15% off of buy more than one is because it is nice to be able to have two or three laying around so that you can change them in case they do get dirty, or if you're on the beach, you probably want to wash one while. So 2 or 3 on a swim is probably enough. On cloth diapers, you need a lot more, right? Because if you're doing it full time, you go through 8 or 9 or sometimes even 10 a day. And if you're not going to wash them, you're not going to wash them immediately. So you need another set for the next day. And so you'll quickly looking at 16 to 24 to get through a couple of days without washing. But for swim, you don't need as many.
You do want to have more than like one with you at all times, though, I'd say, just in case you have that, bowel movement. You want to be able to change them and not go home. So
and it might depend. Like if you live in an area where you're basically in the pool and the water, and you have your own pool in the backyard, and you use one or two every day, then you probably need more. But if you just go into swim school once a week, then having a couple 2 or 3 is probably good enough. So start with that and then see how it goes.
That makes sense.
Because the other thing is they are sized, right? So for the one size diaper, it's okay to invest in a good stash because they're going to last you the entire diapering journey. For swim, because they're sized, at some point you're going to need to move up a size. So, if you bought 10 mediums and now you need to buy another 10 larges, and that starts to get hacking there a little bit. So
that's true. That would be frustrating. Once they hit that growth spurt, you're like, oh no.
Oh no, they worn them once and now they're outgrown. Yeah, that happens. All right. Well, it was wonderful talking to you again. Again, ladies and gentlemen, parents out there that are, doing the hard work. I appreciate everything you guys do. We're here to help make your journey a little bit easier. And
thank you so much for coming on again, and thank you for answering all of our questions, and congratulations on all the awards and special recognition that you've received for the swim diapers and all your diapers.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm sure some people on this line have voted for us, so that always helps.
There you go.
Bye for now. We'll talk to you some other time.
Thank you so much. All right, and I will say goodbye to everyone. If you have any last questions, drop them in the comments or message us, and we will get them to myself or Nico for asking later. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.